Well, hello everybody, and welcome to the Blue Sky Society Wild at Heart live webinar. I would love to extend a warm welcome to all of you from whatever corner of the world you are joining us live from this evening, this afternoon, this morning, wherever you are tuning in from. It's so great to have you all with us, and yeah, thank you for taking the time to come and chat about this wonderful expedition. My name's Erin, and I'm going to be your host and compare for our time together. And we are joined by an amazing panelists of fabulous ladies who I'm so excited to introduce to all of you. So I'm going to start off by introducing our matriarch of this beautiful society and founder of the Blue Sky Society, the wonderful Carla Geyser. Do you want to say hi, Carls?
Hello, E. Thanks so much for broadcasting live from where are you, in the Serengeti there?
Yes, I'm broadcasting live, a very big aerial, and I've got some strong Wi-Fi up here. I was quite surprised.
Very happy to hear that, my friend. Thank you so much for doing this, and thank you to our incredible panel that we've got, some amazing ladies. And yeah, to everyone that's attending, I hope you get to listen in and learn a little bit. And yeah, so for those of you that don't know me, my name's Carla Geyser. I am from the Blue Sky Society Trust. Blue Sky is a non-profit that I started back in 2012, and we raise money and awareness for various humanitarian, environmental, and conservation projects. I more recently started Blue Sky Expeditions, whereby I lead females from all around the world, and sometimes we've had a few gentlemen on our trips, and it's very much focusing on conservation. As I said earlier, raising money and awareness for the incredible people on the ground that are doing such wonderful work.
Thanks, Carls. And speaking of the incredible people on the ground doing the work, it is my great pleasure to introduce to you the ever so wonderful Dr. Lindy Thompson from the Endangered Wildlife Birds of Prey program. Lindy, how are you?
Hi, Erin. Hi, Carla. Thank you so much for having me. I'm really good. How are you doing?
We're all good. Thank you. It's so nice to see you, but it's weird to see you on the other side of a screen.
I know. I was trying to look for a lovely picture like you've got, and I wasn't quick enough. It's nice to see you guys too. I missed you.
Yeah, we miss you too. Thank you for being here today. Do you want to give us a quick little intro and tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, thank you. I'm Lindy. I work with the Endangered Wildlife Trust. We recently opened a new office in Hoedspruit, which is the little town I live in, about an hour's drive from Kruger. It's a beautiful part of South Africa with loads of raptors. It's just bird of prey heaven, so I'm in the right spot. And I've worked with vultures for the last 10 years. So I've had the pleasure of joining Blue Sky Society on a couple of your trips. And yeah, you ladies just make me laugh so much, and you're so wonderful. So I'm really excited to keep working with you.
Oh, thanks, Lindy. It's so nice to have you with us. And yeah, we can't wait to chat more about the vulture side of things. I think for Carls and I, you've just given us such an understanding and grown our love for these amazing birds. So we're very excited to share it with everybody. And broadcasting live from another beautiful part of Africa, the wonderful Isabel, aka Izzy, tuning in from Tswehe Wildlife Reserve in the Tuli block of Botswana. Is that where you are? It looks like your house. I feel like I've got this right.
Yes, you did. Hello, everyone. I'm so thrilled to be here. Thanks, Erin, for the intro. Carly, thanks for the invitation to participate today. I'm really excited to have a spot in this wonderful group, just to chat about all things wildlife and the things that make us tick and what we love about it. Lindy, I had to laugh when you said this group makes you laugh. Absolutely. Actually, Carly always has a putty bag on these journeys with her. So like more so than not, on every trip we have to pull out the potty bag. So yes, they're very much a fun bunch, and it's so lovely to be part of that group and call them my inner circle, I guess. Who am I? I wear a lot of different hats. It's always a little bit like try and put you into a minute, but I guess today I'm here as a representative of our I guess our baby, which is Tswehe Wildlife Reserve in the Tuli block in Botswana, and we have built a lodge that is totally off-grid, and I guess an example of sustainability in practice. But more so, we very much share this deep wish that people who come have an experience of impact and experience of purpose. And so this is how Carl's and her journeys and how I've met Erin, how we've kind of aligned. And I'm so excited to be here and chat more with all of you.
Awesome. Thank you, Iz. So now that we've introduced our panel, I hope that all of our guests have just taken a good seat. I hope you've got a drink of some sort. I thought since this was technically a virtual campfire, it would have been rude for me not to be drinking out of a sippy cup. I'm not going to disclose what's in it. But it's so awesome to be here. And yeah, we just really are just excited to just have a wonderful, fun conversation, because that is really the heart of what Blue Sky Society is all about. There is purpose, there is passion, but there is fun in every single step that we take, even in the frustrating times. So we're going to dive into all of that. But to all of our guests that are joining us, please, just a little bit of housekeeping. I don't feel like that's the right word, but there is a Q&A box. So if you do have any questions, please feel free at any time to pop them up in that box, and we'll either get through them as we're going through our questions, or at the end there will definitely be some dedicated time to have a chat. And yeah, just a disclosure that there is no question that is right or wrong or silly. So yeah, if it's on your heart and you've got something you want to find out, please pop it in there and we will do our best to get through all of them. And yeah, so I think the way that we're going to set up the formalities for today is I've got some questions for our beautiful panelists, which I think is going to help to paint a really, really great picture and understanding of the work that we do. So yeah, if you've been onto our website, if you've been following Blue Sky on social media, and you've maybe had a little bit of a glimpse into these amazing trips that Carla puts together with her heart and soul, it is just absolutely amazing and totally transformational. And you've been kind of wondering whether or not this might be a trip for you. I think I want to go back to Carla and say to you, Carls, why do you think it is so important for women to be a part of these conservation-focused journeys, just like our JWP Wild at Heart expedition that we have coming up next year? And what is it that you hope that these women take away from the experience at the end of the day?
Okay, thanks, E. So I've been very fortunate to have led quite a few conservation-focused journeys in the past, starting from 2016 when Izzy was part of my team. We did the Elephant Ignite trip. Erin, you dropped in 2018 when we did Rise of the Matriarch. And since then, I've created what I like to call Journeys with Purpose. So for me, it's quite a simple idea. I believe that travel should be more than just about taking photos. It should transform you in whatever form that could be. I wanted to create spaces or experiences for ladies where they could connect directly with these conservation organizations that we go and visit along the way, to interact. Sometimes we go into communities, and just to hear about the work that they're doing on the ground. And then to try and, you know, once people have witnessed these stories firsthand and they've connected with the people, often it ignites something inside them. And, you know, I want them to leave a changed person, having learned something, and then to go home to wherever they live in the world and obviously talk about the incredible work that's happening, the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's not all, you know, roses and great stuff. So it's important for them to know what's going on. I mean, Dr. Jane Goodall, who sadly has just passed away, she said, only if we understand can we care, and only if we care will we help, and only if we help shall we all be saved. So I hope that people go away with a deeper understanding what's going on, and just, you know, with an urge to talk about it or to try and raise a bit of awareness or whatever it is. So that's what I hope my ladies or whoever comes on these journeys with purpose take away.
I can definitely attest to that. And I think you do such a great job, Carls, of taking your crew into beautiful spaces that allow for that connection and that understanding to kind of just bloom and manifest in such a beautiful way. And one of those places that we go to is to Lone Tree Wilderness Camp, which is Izzy's spot in Tswehe Wildlife Reserve. And is your camp is probably one of my favorite places in the whole world. I tell everyone about it all the time. I'm like, if it's not on your bucket list, just add it. It's just so special. And I think the work that you're doing there is just completely unique from the way that your camp is set up, your philosophy that you have there, the work that you're doing with schools, with the baobabs, with your guests. So tell us what really makes that uniqueness kind of work in terms of connecting your guests with themselves and nature and conservation at the end of the day.
Thanks, Erin. Makes me very chuffed to hear, because I love it too. I'm a bit biased, granted. I guess, you know, one of the biggest things, and I want to go back in time a little bit, is that even in the design of the place itself, we wanted to create the opportunity for anyone that visited the camp itself to be in this inside-outside living space. So you don't have a solid wall between you and nature itself. It's all open space. It's either canvas or it's mesh. And so in so doing the space alone, there's something in the air. A recent guest said to me, he said, I don't know what it is, Isabel, but when we come to this place, there's something in the air. So this philosophy of wanting to connect people with nature, and that extends into the activities that we are doing. And I think it's sort of, you know, modern life has very much created this barrier between us and nature, and we kind of see ourselves separate. We kind of see ourselves as maybe even superior, or that nature is just a resource to be utilized. So the idea is to kind of give people a sense of what it is to live in harmony with nature, with hands-on examples. Hands-on examples around saying, okay, we utilize solar power. Okay, the way that's built, it's only natural resources as much as possible. In the activities that we do, we want people to have an opportunity to connect with other people. And, you know, Jane's words are reflected in that, because only if we are immersed and if we have exposure can we learn to understand. So if I don't have that exposure, if I don't have the opportunity to go to a village and experience life in a different way, as in people living in a different way, not with as much as we might have in a more Western setting, or with less connection, or so it's this opportunity to kind of go, okay, let's reconnect, let's give the person an opportunity to experience, but then let's also give them an opportunity to get involved and get stuck in it. Being in an open system means we have very different challenges, but also opportunities. There's no fence between my neighbors and me. Who are my neighbors? What do my neighbors need? How can I contribute towards them? So, you know, we do the groundwork in saying, yes, we do sweep for snares, but when we also go to the community and we build bridges and we do educational work at schools. I'm not someone that gives just for the sake of giving, but for example, when it's Christmas, we might make a bit of an experience where we say, let's cook something and let's bring it to the people, because that's something that connects and breaks down those barriers and it bridges those polarities. So it's about life changing, it's about transformation. It's really about an awakening of something that we all carry within ourselves. I think it was Sir Lawrence von der Post who said that nature really gives us the blueprint to being human. And if we have an opportunity to really do that again, to reconnect to that is what we really stand for. And yes, getting involved, you know, hands-on, being the one who wraps the baobabs, being the one who goes out with the camera traps and placing them. There is something about the doing of these activities, or going to a village, planting a tree, talking about an educational, doing whatever it is, something about that unlock something in people, almost like the action of the hand, you know, that kind of gives them that. And then the shift happens and the transformation happens. And with Carl's group, it's always wonderful, because the people who come, and they're keen to get involved, they're keen to connect, they have this yearning, and we respond to this yearning, and we welcome it. That's what we're looking for.
Thanks, Iz. Sometimes that yearning on your grounds also looks like filling giant buckets with elephant dung at 6 o'clock in the morning.
We might get into a bit more depth of the not so comfortable, but yes, you know, I kind of want to make it a bit more romantic just for a moment, because there are some things in conservation that are not so romantic or nice, or they don't smell that nice, or so anyway, we'll leave it at that for now.
Well, all I can say is that they definitely lead to some questions being asked that definitely do come full circle back to the conservation side of things, because if you are shoveling 50 kgs of fresh elephant dung, you want to know that there's a really good reason why you're doing it. So yeah, there's always fun and laughter, and yeah, a dung ball being thrown at the next person. So it really is a beautiful place of connectedness. And yeah, it's such a beautiful space for us just to come and unwind, to disconnect, and really immerse ourselves in that whole kind of culture and philosophy that you guys have built there. So it's absolutely amazing. And yeah, it's always a highlight on the trip. And next to that highlight is generally a little hop, skip and a jump over the great grey, green, greasy Limpopo River, where we go and meet up with our favorite crew from the Endangered Wildlife Trust Birds of Prey program, Lindy, and your other half, John, who is normally with you. Was he feeling a bit camera shy this afternoon, Lindy, that he didn't want to come and chat with the girls?
Oh my goodness, so John is never camera shy. You know what he's like. No, unfortunately, he's driving from the Karoo. He was visiting some of our team members down there. So he's gallivanting, but he'll be home tomorrow night. Yes.
Oh, awesome. I'm sure we had a little bit of FOMO, but we are so stoked to have you with us. And You know, I feel like every time we reflect on these journeys, we're always kind of going like, this is my favorite part, or this is my favorite place to go. And I mean, there's always these amazing standout moments, but I think being able to spend a day out in the field with you and your team is just something that over the years has grown increasingly larger in my heart, because number one, you guys have got the most amazing sense of compassion and dedication for the work that you do with these vultures. And you've taught us so much about these incredible creatures. So I think for our audience that maybe isn't too aware of what it is that the Birds of Prey program is all about and why you've chosen vultures, maybe you can just put a little ribbon on what that looks like and why it's so important for us to be supporting the work that you guys are doing.
Thanks, Erin, and we are so grateful for your support. And yeah, as I said, we enjoy our visits so much. We really look forward to them. I think you guys showed me that vulture trapping can really be taken up a notch. John and I are quite serious. We whisper with the birds. I'm not saying that you don't like respect the birds as well, but you make them so much fun. Yeah, we do a lot of different conservation projects and research. My focus is quite research based at the moment, so I'm working with some postgrad students looking at vulture health and all these different aspects that we hadn't considered before. We do focus a lot on man-made threats, our human impacts on birds, not so much on natural threats like diseases, but yeah, they do struggle a lot with flying into wind turbines, this green energy, but not really for birds or bats, that kind of thing. So we're trying to navigate how to mitigate those threats, and with power lines and with poisoning, that's the biggest threat at the moment to vultures in Africa. Worldwide, I think it's picking up this threat of poisoning. So we're trying to deal a lot with different partners and the public to mitigate these threats. But you'll be glad to know that your vulture yoga that you guys started a few years ago and we trapped together is now a hit. I do it regularly with people, sometimes when we're trapping birds. In the past, it can be a bit tedious waiting, especially on a hot day. And I can't remember who it was, but I definitely remember you, Erin, asking us all to pose like flying vultures, and then it just makes it so much fun. So I'm just really grateful that you've elevated our vulture trapping experience. Yeah. But yeah, we do a lot of work with people all over South Africa, and we're branching into Southern Africa as well. I'm just trying to protect these really special and majestic birds. And I can see Isabel pointing, yes, nodding. I'm not sure what she's saying. She's miming something.
Something come to us.
Yeah, but Erin, sorry, I'm not sure if I answered your question or not. But yeah, you asked what people can do to help birds. There's a whole bunch of things people can do based on the different threats that birds have. But lead, for example, if you hunt or shoot rather, in any capacity, if you're a hunter or recreational shooter, or if you work on a game reserve and you have to cull wildlife, it's just a fact of having fenced reserves. We sometimes have to manage numbers, then choosing to not use lead ammunition. What else? Not using rat poison. It's something so many of us do. I think a lot of us have just brought some poison if we have rats in the kitchen or rats around our house, and that affects owls. No matter what it says on the label, it does affect owls and snakes and other creatures that we want to protect. So rather use a live trap, and when you catch the rat, you can just shuffle it down the road. That's what I do at the moment. Don't tell my neighbors. But simple things like that. I think we all can do little things like that. Reporting grounded birds. I know a lot of people, when they see baby owls on the floor, and a lot of our owls do nest on the floor, and they're cute and they're fluffy and they just look so vulnerable when they've just left the nest, but they're only a day or two off flying. And that's the moment when we often see them, we scoop them up, and we want to raise them at home, and we feed them dog food, or we feed them. I found an owl once that the person said they hadn't fed it anything, but I found curry balls inside the box. This poor owl little taste buds must have been on fire, not used to that. So yeah, if you ever do find a grounded owl, just leave it where it is and call your nearest rehab center or vet, and they can advise you on whether that owl should be on the floor or whether you should pick it up and take it to a rehab center. So it's just kind of like common sense, things like that. We can all play our part and chip in to help the birds. Thank you.
So welcome. And I love that, Lindy. I always say you should always help whoever you can, however you can, with whatever you can. There's no act that is too great or too small. So it's really awesome to know that there are these little things that we can do. And I think one of the most amazing things about being on the ground with you guys is how much we learn in such a short amount of time. And I do just want to also put a disclaimer out there that, you know, the the vulture yoga has only ever yielded in very positive results while we have been out in the field. So it is no surprise that it's a hit. I mean, it is up on our Instagram. If you guys, if no one's seen it yet, it's an absolute hoot. But I mean, this is just part of what we do. It's part of the laugh, and it's part of just having fun in between things, because sometimes when we're out in the field, we can sit out there for hours, and, you know, we've just got to find ways to entertain ourselves and have a laugh. But one thing I can say is Coles really knows how to pick a group of ladies, and we are never in short supply of creative ideas and ways to entertain ourselves. Sometimes I'm quite surprised at the things that people have come up with to entertain themselves while sitting out in the middle of the bush. And yeah, it's amazing. So these are all these incredible experiences that we get to be a part of while we are on the road. And Coles spends so much time mapping out these itineraries and these routes. And Coles, maybe you want to just reflect on also, just not from just an activities point of view or a hands-on conservation point of view, some of the places that we are going to be going to next year. I know we've got routes that cover transfrontier parks and UNESCO sites, and you know, maybe for our international visitors that don't really know what those are, if you want to give us a little rundown on why we should be so excited about going to these places.
Sure, no problem, E. Yeah, as I say, the Dutchies, as we know, I see there 1 or 2 that are logged on, or 3 or 4. Happy birthday, Remka. They were also very much involved in our yoga. But you know what? Conservation is quite it's a hard industry to be in, so you've got to keep the humor. So for this particular Wild at Heart trip, we're going to start off in Johannesburg. We head to the most incredible place called the Waterberg, which is a UNESCO biosphere, where we are going to be spending time with Kainga Research Facility, meeting some of the conservationists on the ground. We then cross into our favorite place, into the Tuli block, where we'll be doing stuff with Izzy. The wonderful thing about Lone Tree Camp is it's in a transfrontier a national park, but like Lone Tree is wonderful because you can either go out or you can just sit there for days and just watch the animals. They've got an incredible hide, and you can sit there for hours. I mean, we sat there for hours this year. And then we moved to Hoedspruit, where we spend time with the incredible team from EWT, and then also back into the Kruger, the greater Kruger area. So for me, these trips are about going to the beautiful places like the UNESCO sites and appreciating the transfrontier parks. But I like to prioritize things like observation over interaction and education over entertainment. I mean, the animals, for me, they're not there to entertain us. And you'll all agree to this, that there's nothing better than watching an animal in its wild environment rather than being exploited. So for me, and you know, I believe our moral duty as travelers and conservationists is to teach people who come on these trips how to engage ethically with nature, to sit quietly. Isabel's husband, Lloyd, is very good at that. He talks often about how we can learn from nature. And obviously we're learning from the people, you know, the conservationists like Lindy, but then also to leave South Africa or Southern Africa with a deeper appreciation and understanding of these spaces and the wildlife that we're trying to protect on a day-to-day basis. So I think that's one of the things that it inspires me. It allows me to get creative and keep on designing these trips. But yeah, I think what keeps me a little bit, these journeys with purpose, a little bit different to all, you know, the other trips. You know, it's not just about coming on a safari. It's about learning, it's about connecting, and it's about going home a changed person.
I couldn't agree with you more, Carls. And I would like to know, maybe you want to share with us that this is not an ordinary trip, and somehow we attract not ordinary people that come on these trips with us. So if there's someone here that's sitting going, I'm not entirely sure that I'm the right person to be joining one of these trips, tell us about the ideal person that's going to come and join us on one of these adventures.
So I think it's anyone that's wanting to, you know, I talk to so many people, and I think Africa has been in their soul since they were a little girl or a young boy. And there's something very special about, you know, putting your feet on Mama Africa's soil. And she seems to give you whatever you need at that particular time in life. And, you know, these journeys, they're not just about learning from these incredible organizations and seeing the incredible work that they're doing, but it's about, you know, going within yourself and you know, seeing what you need at that particular time but what you need at that particular time in your life. And for me, one of the things that I really love about, you know, the women that come on these trips, and as I said, I've had men as well, is they're all different. Everyone's got their own backstory. They come from different countries, different places, different ages, but they're all connected with a common purpose. And I believe, you know, that there's something very powerful and magical when you get a group of people connected with different backgrounds, but when they've got a common purpose. And so, yeah, we do attract different characters, but I think that's what makes the journey so special. I mean, the laughter that we have and, you know, the connections that you make with like-minded people. So I think that's what keeps it quite special and unique.
I'm sure that you can also attest to that. I mean, you are one of the Blue Sky Expedition OGs back in, I think it was 2016, Elephants Ignite. You ladies hit the road. You were out of here. And, you know, it really is just a family that forms. It's a sisterhood, really, at the end of the day. So, yeah, you know, you've done a lot of work with Blue Sky in the past with connecting women with wildlife. So how have you seen these connections being impactful either on a conservation or a personal level, you know, between the people that are on these trips?
You know, Uni, there's something about Carla's trips are often that the way she designs them and it's authentic. So it's like it's real. And I think there is something about when you invite people to a real experience, they can be their real selves. They can be who they are. And there is something about being in a group of predominantly women. We're not saying it's only for women, but there is this tendency that women want to come together and they come and do this together, and being seen as who you are in a group like this. You feel understood, you feel like you're part of something, you know, you feel like, you know, shits and giggles is part of that, because essentially all of us have shits and giggles inside of us. It's just whether we show it or not, or whether we're comfortable to show it or not. And I have found that on Carla's trips, people arrive and it doesn't take them long to shed the mask. So what I mean by that is literally they arrive and they might still feel a little bit. So you might now think, you know, at home behind the screen, you think to yourself, well, I don't know if I'd fit in, you know, maybe I'm not. We all had that sort of worry. Don't worry, that it goes through you, and you think to yourself, should I, shouldn't I? But to me, this is the call for adventure. So if you're on this particular webinar today, you are being called for something more, for something other, for an adventure, for an experience. Something in your life is calling you to come and take part in this. And then when you're on it, for me, as I say, these people, they're my tribe, in inverted commas. Carla always talks about her tribe. And truth be told, this is exactly what it is, because you get one another. And it's not only that, you know, we all do different things. I mean, think about it. I mean, I'm here in the Tuli, I sit here, then we've got someone in the tribe is working as a very large GM in Tanzania, very big role. So we all do different things, but somehow we're all bound together. And this is exactly this purpose, this shared interest, but also we shed the mask. We've let go of that which we think we should be to allow ourselves to be who we really are. And there's nothing more fabulous than, like, if you feel like saying something and not thinking, should I say it or shouldn't I? You just say it, because you know it is received without judgment. It's received how it should be. So like this thing to walk alongside people and not having to wear a mask, it's wonderful. I mean, and aside that, from a personal perspective, you know, the shedding of mask is wonderful. This ability to then say, wow, this is really for something good. You know, I know hands on. When Carla says money goes into X, it will go into that specific project. If the purpose of the journey is to say, okay, Lindy needs something to make her work more successful, it'll go there. So from printing thousands of educational booklets, literally, Carl knows the number, Erin, you might too, there's thousands of people and young children who have received education because of what these journeys enable. I have been able to protect more trees. I've been able to do more educational work with communities. I have been able to just grow that purpose that I want to live and the things that I want to do. So it's almost like from a professional, this kind of a network. It really is incredibly valuable because you'll see overlaps and you'll see, oh, well, this person is really good at this. Maybe I can ask them to help me with that. We join hands, we hold hands, we support one another where we can. And I think for anyone that comes on these sort of expeditions and these journeys, they have an opportunity to tap into this incredible network of highly skilled, highly compassionate, passionate, fun people. And I think that from a personal and a professional couldn't be any better than that. I mean, and if you're on the fence, don't be. Come and join it.
Before we push you over the fence and force you to come with us. No, it is just such an amazing thing. And I think it's so inspiring. I mean, Carl has touched on the fact that we've had, one or two males come and join us on our adventures. But predominantly we started off as a women-only group, and it's such a beautiful thing. And I think this is also what we love about working with you, Lindy, to be able to connect with another female in conservation that is really just, you're such a machine. Like, wait until you see Lindy in her 4x4 flying down. Like, I can't give too much away right now, but it's quite a sight. Like, she's a tiny human, and dynamite really does come in small packages with her. Like, she's just the best. But Lindy, I would love to know, like, from your perspective, because I mean, you're kind of on the other side of the coin. You are part of the organizations that we are doing this for to support. So, like, what does it look like for you? How does it make you feel to see a group of women that are just really showing up, maybe feeling super certain or absolutely like scared of what they're getting themselves into, but yeah, just being a part of the whole experience?
Thanks, Erin. Yeah, I think it's something absolutely incredible. Isabel, you said it so beautifully. I can't put it any better than that. No, it is really special. Like you said, that you can just drop the mask, as you mentioned, just being authentically yourself. It's just a really welcoming, yeah, Carla, I'm not sure if you handpick people or if they're just attracting the right kind of people to these trips that you guys do, but it's always such a warm, welcoming group, so accepting, despite all these different nationalities in the room, often Dutchies, which is amazing, my favorite. But yeah, just all these different personalities, different walks of life, and it is quite marvelous. And just how much fun everybody has. And I just remember the crates that you guys funded last year, the big vulture storage crates that we've used a lot in poisonings, which have really changed and improved our success at saving birds from poisoning scenes. So thank you so much for all your support. But I remember Nicole climbing inside one, and we were filming a video of her emerging as a vulture. And it was, yeah, it's just a really lovely group of people that you can be yourself with. And yeah, I enjoy it very much. And I'm sure the rest of you will too.
Yeah, never a dull moment. It doesn't matter where you are. Someone's getting shoved in a crate or hoisted up a baobab tree or potentially wired to a baobab tree. We almost left Jeanette behind on Tswehe last year while we were wrapping baobabs. So she was tuckered in there. So yeah, it's brilliant. And I think this is part of the soulfulness that comes from these adventures. I always just say that every time I get off one of these trips, I just feel like I have this beautifully written new chapter that I'm adding into the book of life, of my life, that, when I look back through it, there's all of these moments and these people that we connect with. I mean, I never thought I would ever imagine to like pick up my phone and have numbers from so many different people from around the world who would quite literally come and fetch me from the airport and let me sleep on their couch, like no problem, because this is just what it's all about. And it's so beautiful, and it's so special. But in between all of that, Carl, I want to ask you, I mean, you have been doing this for some time now, and you've had guests from all over the world come and join you on these expeditions. Like, from your previous expeditions, like, is there any like real standout moment that has maybe stayed with you, that it's a funny moment or a very transformational moment that has maybe shaped the way that you have led these journeys going forward from your first Elephants Ignite expedition?
Thanks, E. Yeah, I think there are so many moments, and like I can't particularly think of too many now, but I mean, just talking about the laughter, I mean, that for me is such an important thing. I mean, I think we're all living in such a crazy wide world at the moment, and you know, I mean, you and I were so ballistic with Karen and Jeanette when she thought that Jeanette was underneath the tent. You remember? Anyway, it was a Janet that I was saying, look at the Janet, and Karen from Netherlands thought Jeanette, our client, had crawled underneath the tent. And I mean, I think we were ballistic for a couple of hours laughing at that. And for me, it's so incredible that I've got this opportunity to meet these incredible people from all over the world, and to bring them to our beautiful Mama Africa, and just allow them to, like you all saying, very kindly been saying, just be themselves, and just, you know, connect with each other, just reconnect with themselves, and just, you know, go away different people. I mean, there are challenges that we do face. I mean, security and keeping them safe is always an issue. Also, what I love about Lone Tree as well is like the digital detox. And I know we're always talking about, you know, trying to encourage people to be present on these trips. You know, as I say, we live in such a fast world at the moment. So to be able to disconnect and be present. And then also just to go and learn something. I mean, like I said, like in the beginning, I think travel should transform you, and you should be able to learn something. So, you know, to be able to walk away, go home again, and to be able to share those experiences with somebody is very important. I don't know if I'm frozen.
Your picture's frozen, but we can still hear you, Carl.
That's okay.
There we go. As long
That's
as
all right. My droning
as you
voice.
still got an
Yeah,
ear
so
on the ground. There we go. You're back.
There we go. I'm back. Don't panic, everyone. Calm down. But yeah.
That's amazing, Carl. And while you were talking and you were reminding me about this hysterical moment about Jeanette, which I think will definitely go down in the history books, it made me think of the fact that Karen and Jeanette were one of our, and I say this with all the love and respect, older crew members on that specific trip that we did last year. And they were absolute troopers. And Sigrid must have been reading my mind, because this question here, I'm going to throw it at you now while we're talking about this, saying, being interested in conservation and helping people and animals, I've traveled all over the world and been on 7 private safaris over the years. So the question is there an age limit to participate in your journeys? I don't know if I would want to 77, however, very fit, healthy, and open to any new adventures. So yeah, what do we have to? I think that's an open invitation.
Yeah. You know what? I've had 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds, and I've had a lot of very fit, like 78, 79-year-olds. And I don't think that age is something that defines you as a person. You know, I'd like to try and say, as long as you can like get in and out of a vehicle, you know, because sometimes we do go on bushwalks and things like that, but it's never like a big march or anything. But also the lovely thing about these journeys is that you can get as involved or not involved as you want to. Like if you feel like you just need to sit on your deck somewhere and just watch the elephants, then that's actually okay. Or if you want to physically get involved and dig holes for baobabs, or, you know, it just depends on what we're doing. So, you know, for me, as long as you are comfortable and you get the go ahead from from your family or whoever you might be responsible to or not responsible to. You know, as I say, as long as you are, I mean, there's so many 70-year-olds that are fitter than me at the moment. So, you know, as I say, age doesn't define you. So, yeah, most yeah, people are welcome. Just talk to me.
Yeah, and if you know, we need to do a little bit of workouts, because you were doing some bicep curls with a little bit of dead wood that we were removing from the baobabs. So like we also stay very fit and healthy on the road as well.
Absolutely.
You know, yes, to make room for gin and tonics around the campfire at the end of the night. But you know, that's okay. That's absolutely okay. We've spoken a little bit about the baobabs, and Is, maybe you'd just like to give us a little insight into actually the work that we will be participating in while we are visiting you with the baobabs, and just a little insight as to why it is actually so important.
With pleasure, Erin. So there's a woman called Dr. Sarah Fenter who did her research on how baobab trees could be protected from elephant damage. Now, I want to go back a little bit just to put this into context, because it's not that elephants always damage baobabs and that's a huge problem. So baobab trees are a keystone species, which means that they provide living habitat for a variety of species, from mammals to, you know, elephants, baboons, but also like up to 100 bird species will utilize a baobab tree. So this is why this is a keystone species in the African landscape. And aside that ecological value, they also obviously have historical and cultural value. So a lot of the stories that you will hear from elders in community, a lot of the stories about, you know, that are shared around the campfire or that children know is it, in one way or another, has a baobab tree in it or other significant trees. So the baobab stories, there's one that talks about the upside down tree that felt ugly and couldn't fit in. And isn't that a wonderful analogy to kind of bring into a community and into your own space? If you think about this tree, but look at the value it has in the ecosystem. Or, you know, the baobab tree providing safety to baby zebra running away from a lion. So there's a lot of cultural and historical value in these trees. Plus, it is medicine. It's medicine for animals. They utilize different parts of the tree at different times of the year. There are amazing people who make amazing products, skincare products, so like, you know, from baobab. So it's so versatile and so important. However, when one looks at what happens in the different landscapes, there's various reasons why perhaps one notices damage to baobab trees caused by elephants. It might begin with that we're in a drought and they are very nutritious for them to eat during drought or winter time. So in wintertime, one might see more of the bark being stripped or the branches being, you know, broken off the tree. You will find that also the baobab tree, you know, the young trees coming through are getting eaten by impala or kudu too soon, or even baboons are very cheeky. They pull them out and they eat half of it and they play with it and they do all sorts of things. So a baobab tree is habitat, but it is also a source of food. And sometimes if there is an imbalance caused by various factors in the natural landscape, then they get eaten too much, in inverted commas. So these factors could be, we all know that, you know, human development, space is being made smaller for wildlife to move freely. And so elephants are being pushed into smaller spaces. They might not have as much room to play. We have the Limpopo River, which floods seasonally, which means they don't really cross if they have small babies. We are an open system, so we don't see as much of the damage as the enclosed systems. However, it is our responsibility to make sure that protecting elephant also means protecting the habitat. And so the baobab tree itself is important to look after. And some of the things we do are, we've got a nursery where we plant, you know, we take seeds from the local trees, so they're adapted to this area. And we want to raise them to as big as we can. And then Dr. Sarah Fenter, we call it rewilding baobab. We love that because it's just a wonderful way of describing that it's not just about rewilding the tree, but it's also rewilding them back into into the space where they're supposed to be, into the landscapes. But doing so also means we have to protect the large trees that are there already, some of them thousands of years old. And so she's developed a method with wire mesh, which means if you wrap the trunk, because the tree has a very large trunk, and then the branches on top are fairly sort of upside down tree, like the roots looking up. And so the trunk is very easy to protect just by a layer of wire mesh. And we're putting that on with enough space to breathe and grow. And this is only for a period of time to make sure the tree can recover. Meaning that if there was a drought, if there was winter, if we can see trees have been damaged, we put that on so the bark can regenerate, because they can very well if they're given time to do so. So this is some of the things. Then we're going to be up at ladders. Those trees are not small. It's not like a 1 meter tree in the back of your garden. You're going to have to get up 7-8 meters somewhere up there. So you need ladders. Then you need 2 ladders on either side, sometimes 3, however wide the trunk is, because you have to hold it in different places, and then you hammer it in with a short nail, not too deep, does not damage the tree in itself. Plus also it creates a small little hole that then almost initiates regeneration. So meaning that if you create a little bit of a damage in the bark, it kind of initiates regeneration, so it can heal quicker. I hope that has answered your question. I mean, I can talk forever, as you know, as you can see. So let's mute me.
Thank you, Iz. No, it's awesome to hear about everything that's going on. And yeah, ladders and all. And yeah, if you have short girl problems like me, you just jump on a friend's shoulder. I had Ilse last year hoisting me up like a freaking rugby player, and yeah, like teamwork makes the dream work. So yeah, it's absolutely amazing. We've only got a few minutes left, but before we jump into Q&A, so if anyone does have a question, please pop it in this box, in the question and answers box, and we can jump onto that. But just talking about the impacts, there is purpose in all of the organizations that we go and we meet. You're talking about the baobabs, and Lindy, I just wanted to chat a little bit more about the work with the vultures. But I think, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, if I have my story misaligned in any way, but when we were with you guys earlier this year, we got obviously that devastating news about that mass vulture poisoning. That was just absolutely heartbreaking. And I think from a perspective point of view, I'd love for you maybe just to share some light on how the support of these expeditions, by means of what we've been able to contribute towards the funding, directly helped in a situation like that, because I think that is a really wonderful thing for people to understand, that support is directly helping you guys.
Yeah, thank you so much, Erin. Yeah, that was definitely a low point and also a high point, strangely, for me this year. So earlier this year, there was a big poisoning in the Kruger National Park. So our iconic, famous national park in South Africa. And yet there's all these poisonings happening in it. Unfortunately, it's something you just can't control. People sneak in, and for various reasons, they poison wildlife. Sometimes it's not related to the vultures at all, but the vultures eat meat, so they will also be attracted to the poison meat. So we had, when we were with you guys last year, which was so upsetting, yeah, John had checked on these trapped vultures the night before, and he'd seen that a couple of birds had stopped moving inside northern Kruger, and then the next morning he'd been following them on his phone. He didn't tell me. So when he was inside the hide, he was really stressed. We were waiting for birds to come down, having fun with you, and I didn't realize John was sitting in his hide following these birds not moving and getting more and more stressed. And it did turn out to be the biggest poisoning we've ever had in South Africa that we've ever dealt with 123 dead birds. And there were about 88 live birds. We didn't realize at the time because there was so much mayhem and rushing and confusion and lots of people involved. But yeah, about 88 birds came into the local rehab center in the vulture ambulance, which was sponsored by Blue Sky Society. So thank you so much to you, incredible ladies, and Ilse and your team and everyone who's been with you before, Remy. We love you so much. We really do. I saw your comment, Ilse, that you fell in love, and our team completely fell in love with you as well. But if we hadn't had all those big crates from you guys, we would have had to transport but all these different people who were involved. That was what was so lovely about it for me, all these different NGOs and members of the public getting stuck in and getting involved to transport these birds by helicopter and by vehicle over a course of 24 hours, about 6 hours drive to the nearest rehabilitation center where they were all treated, and about 95% of them survived and were released. And that was in big part thank you to Carla and Erin and your incredible ladies who come on these groups. So yeah, this funding that you give to us is huge. It goes into our Raptor Emergency Fund, which we use. The Endangered Wildlife Trust uses it whenever there's poisonings, which is usually the biggest threat to vultures around here in the Kruger area, for us to respond and for us to pay choppers to go quickly to sites if we can't get there quick enough by ground. So it's a massive team effort, and you guys are a huge part of it. So thank you so much.
Well, I think the thanks is all to you guys for the amazing work that you are doing. And yeah, I really just wanted to highlight that there is a tangible difference that is being made through these expeditions, and that, you know, to echo what Izzy was saying, is that there is a fundraising component, and which can maybe deter people a little bit, because there is so much false information and false things that are happening. But I think it's really gratifying, and I'm sure Carls can attest to it as well, on just being able to see the hard work that goes into the fundraising and to be able to see it in action, even though we sit with our fingers crossed that hopefully we're never going to need to use the vulture ambulance. But, you know, to know that the support is there, Carls does a really good job with that. So yeah, thank you. Just before we get ready to wrap up, I think we had a question from Amber earlier, who was asking about the, oh, goodness gracious, I'm about to almost share my screen with you guys. I don't know why. And my mouse has gone AWire. All right. Okay, can you still see me? Because I've not, okay, wait, I found it again.
Can see you.
I'm back. Okay, too many tabs open on my laptop. Carls, Amber was asking earlier about the Wild at Heart expedition. Is it an annual event? Is it planned again for 2027? And does it happen at the same time of the year, in May, April, May, essentially?
So every one of my expeditions in the past's always been a once off, but I'm so obsessed with Lone Tree and working with EWT, so I always try and incorporate the same kind of trip like we're doing next year, very similar to what we did this year. So to answer your question, Amber, yes, I will always try and do something with the birds of prey and with Izzy. It might change slightly time-wise, just depending on what's happening. But yeah, you know, in life you find your tribe, like what Erin was talking about, and you see these incredible people that are doing amazing work, and you know, it's good to create good relationships and to support the people that are doing great work. So yeah, I will always be doing something with Izzy and Lone Tree and with EWT. So hope that's the right answer.
Absolutely. And I think maybe a question, I see Jean-Marie, our unofficial president of Botswana, who joined us last year on one of our expeditions with his beautiful family. I mean, we've been talking a lot about the fact that it's a predominantly female expedition, Carls, but what if you've got some guys, because I know they get jealous when they see how much fun we're having out there, you know, so if you do have males that are interested, are they invited or not so much?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, if you can get a group of people together, you know, I get a lot of, sometimes families want to come. I've had, you know, yeah, so I am open to that, you know. So it's not just, I didn't go out to just do only female, but it just happened that way. But open with a very big heart and wide arms. I mean, I loved our trip with Jean-Marie and the team back last year. So very, very happy, fond memories, and yeah, lots of laughter, lots of love, you know, lots of love, just in a different way.
Absolutely. Linda is asking to maybe just give us a little bit more insight on the kind of coaching components of your trips. I know there isn't a huge focus on it in this Wild at Heart expedition, but you do have another one coming up with Camilla later this year, where that's a little bit more intentional with that side of things.
So yeah, so I did a trip with Camilla last year, and that had a more of a transformational coaching side of things. You know, there's nothing like sitting in nature. Izzy, you were there as well. And one of the most amazing things is we were at a Lone Tree for 4 days, and there's nothing like, whatever change you're going through in your life, whatever life's thrown at you, There's nothing like sitting quietly in nature and just observing and learning and just being still. Yeah, so there is always like we'll be doing another trip with Camilla next year. But yeah, for this particular one, I know that you are a coach, Erin. I don't know, maybe you want to answer this one. You can coach you how to drink gin and tonic.
I could definitely coach you how to drink gin and tonic and not really have a hangover the next morning. Something about being in the bush and gin and tonics. But you know, I think having a person be with you and help to facilitate that coaching is really there just to nudge you to explore the things that are already landing with you. There's so much healing, there's so much transformation, there's so many different lessons that just come to you and sitting in the quiet. I mean, being at Tswehe and going on the walk up to the big baobab tree where Lloyd gives us all that reprieve just to sit in silence for 10 minutes and, you know, just reflect. I think there's so many of those moments. And I think having a facilitator like Camilla and Izzy as well, you know, just to help nudge you and open your mind up a little bit more to the things that are already sitting with you is really, it's just powerful and beautiful.
Are your eyes wide open, Erin?
Absolutely.
Are your eyes wide open? Exactly.
So just one sentence to add to this, because it's exactly that. So nature brings you whatever it is that you want to be kind of working with, in a sense, and it's all about kind of using that analogy, you know, like what happens in nature, observation, time to just be and be quiet, someone that nudges you in that direction, but also, you know, making that room to reflect, making that room to process, making that room to kind of exploring something one is dealing with. We all have our things, and nature brings that all to you, and that's the wonderful thing. And then if there's someone there that kind of bounces it back with you. And yeah, I had to say that, are your eyes wide open? Because Lloyd will always ask that. And obviously he means it in a physical sense as much as in a spiritual sense as well, or in a transformative sense or emotional sense, whichever one you're currently working with. So yeah, just are our eyes wide open? Yes, they are.
Yeah, you will definitely not leave these trips the same person that you arrived as, in whatever shape or form that looks like. But it's always just been the most amazing thing. We've had women from all over the world that have kind of arrived in these small little shells, or, you know, being frustrated and just really just opened up, and we've really got to know each other, and it's just such a special thing. So I could blab on forever about how amazing these trips are, but I just want to extend a very, very, very big heartfelt thank you to all of you for sitting with us and chatting and just opening your hearts, and for being here, and Carl's for your amazing dedication to putting these trips together. Like, we would not all be here in this exact moment without you and making these beautiful memories. So thank you so much to everybody. Please, if you do have any other questions, we are on social media, Blue Sky Society Trust on Facebook and Instagram. Please head to our website, blueskysociety.org, if you are interested in joining any of Carla's upcoming trips, and feel free to send us a direct message if any other questions pop up later, lying in bed going, oh, I should have asked this question. Yeah, we're here to connect. And yeah, it's been such a privilege to chat with you all. And thank you so much. So ladies, I don't know if you want to unmute yourselves and say a very friendly goodbye to everybody. So thanks for being here with us all.
Yeah, from our side, thank you so much, Erin. And thanks to everyone for listening to us blab on for an hour. As I say, we need a campfire to carry on. But Lindy, thank you for your incredible work. Can't wait to see you soon, my sister. And Erin, can't wait to share a fire with you soon. And hopefully some of the ladies, or Jean-Marie, or anyone on the trip, you are always welcome to come home. Mama Africa is always ready, waiting for you. And I love you dearly.
Thank you so much. It was so lovely to chat with all of you and connect. Thanks for making the space, Carl and Erin.
Thank you guys for having us. Yeah, love you very much. I can't wait to see you all again.
Oh, so much love in the air. Thank you so much, everybody. And don't forget, if you want to come and hang out with us next week, Tuesday, the 25th, same time, same place, we've got another webinar about another one of our trips. So from our hearts to yours, thank you so much. Asante Sane. Bye.